So as another day passes by in the home that is Gracefield, the children wake up, the children eat, and the children play as if it was any other day. Because it is just another day, but there's one huge difference. Just like the seasons, Norman's time in Gracefield has come and gone. Days seem gloomier, and the overall demeanor of our characters is at an all-time low. I think it's pretty safe to say that we've never seen our characters behave this way before. Emma is angered with her powerlessness as she's really unable to do much with her broken leg, and Ray, after years of thoughts and careful planning to either ensure his friends escape or at the very least ensure they live a happy, fulfilling, but limited life in Gracefield, is just tired after seeing all his planning go to waste. And it was a waste, because although Emma, Ray, Dawn, and Gilda themselves can still escape, the plan was for everybody to escape. And at this point, with Norman gone, the entirety of Gracefield could escape alongside all the neighboring plants, and yet there will still be this gaping hole in the hearts of the children of Gracefield, a hole that only someone like Norman could fill. The past couple of episodes have been quite a roller coaster of emotions, from seeing our characters' inspection go south and then learning that Norman will be shipped, only to find out not soon after that Norman only has 24 hours before he is shipped, to seeing Norman's conflicting emotions about wanting to live but also not wanting one of his friends to be sacrificed in his place. And that's it, really. That's what drove Norman to make the decision he made this episode. The love and appreciation he has for his siblings. Though now it's time for both Emma and Ray to take advantage of the opportunity Norman left them. Yes, they're in pain. Yes, they're grieving, and I can only imagine the pain and hopelessness they're feeling at the moment, but they cannot let Norman's sacrifice be for nothing. So they must act. They must escape with everybody. And after months of pretending as if there's no point in escaping and choosing for yourself what it means to be happy, the children of Gracefield have one last opportunity to make it out of here alive and as a family. This episode is probably my favorite so far, but as an adaptation, I wasn't the biggest fan of some of the dialogue they left out, but everything else was brilliant. This episode covers the rest of chapter 29, as episode 9 ended halfway through the chapter up until chapter 31. However, in addition to that, they adapted one of the short side stories that appear at the end of chapters at times to give us some context that was not at all needed but very much appreciated. One of my major issues so far with this series is how Cloverworks doesn't really take advantage of the artwork by Demuzu Posuka, specifically the environments, and at times I do have some issues with how they adapt certain still shots or sequences. But that was not an issue at all this episode. I really love the detail they put into Ray's face after Norman's departure. The look on Ray's face just spells out defeat. So when Ray says that he's tired and you take into consideration what he's been through, you believe him. When Ray says that he's done, you believe him. The same goes for Emma, the way they captured her frustration at her inability to do anything, and also how they capture her very unstable emotions towards Isabella. You can tell Emma despises Isabella, not only for what she did to Norman, but also because Emma cannot understand why someone would choose to be a mama. Emma doesn't understand the decision-making process that goes against what she currently believes, and so she's angry and she wants to express these emotions, but Emma's fear of Isabella is always strong enough to overpower the anger she feels towards her. This episode is meant to tug at your heartstrings, and through a combination of things, the episode manages to do just that to an extraordinary degree. The use of music was great throughout the episode, and as I mentioned earlier, I enjoyed that they altered the lighting back to that very gloomy bluish green after Norman's death to signify the shift in mood and tone. However, what I was most fond of was the attention to detail this episode had. Not only in what I mentioned previously in terms of the faces and eyes of our characters, but context. Context is ridiculously important, which is why I was so happy to see the backstory to the telephone cups adapted. You see, in the manga, it isn't quite as obvious that this is the only thing Norman packs. It's actually quite easy to miss. And the fact that this sequence in the manga is a 6-part side story that appears at the end of chapters makes them pretty easy to miss if you're binge reading the series. So you could catch the fact that the cups are the only things that Norman packs, but without the context, it means nothing. This wholesome sequence gives us, in the grand scheme of things, context regarding something so small and trivial, but there's no describing the emotional impact having this adapted has or adds to the overall sequence it was in. This episode was amazing, and I feel did an excellent job at portraying the story both Shira, Caillou, and Demizo Bosuka wanted to portray. We're drawing nearer and nearer towards the finale of the first season of The Promised Neverland, and honestly, if this episode was anything to go by, I can only imagine how good the next couple of episodes will be. But hey, these are my thoughts, and I'm curious to hear yours. Some of you are already coming up with some crazy theories, so if you're an anime only, let me know how you feel about the possibilities of Norman actually being alive. Also, it seems like the escape is on, and if it's gonna happen, it has to happen soon as Ray himself is also running out of time, so let me know if you think an escape will take place, and if so, how will it go? And if you're a manga reader, let me know how you felt Cloverworks adapted this episode. Do you agree with what I had to say about this episode and how this story has been adapted so far? Please like the video if you enjoyed it, it helps the channel out a lot. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter, to subscribe to my channel, and to hit that bell. That way you don't miss a video and can continue watching The Promised Neverland and many other series with me. And with that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.